Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video and I hope you guys are doing well today. And I want to talk about ICC compared to Cataclysm raiding, specifically tier 11. Now, last weekend I did more 10 and 25 man ICCs than I care to mention on the PTR, and we've got another PTR coming soon where I'm going to do it all over again. I got a really good idea of the difficulty overall, and the one comment I heard over and over again is that ICC is one step forward towards Cataclysm raiding in difficulty and things like that, mechanics, everything else. And it's a good chance for the player base to get ready. In general, I actually massively agree with this comment, and here's how I'm looking at it. So comparing ICC with tier 11 in Cataclysm can be done by comparing raid sizes, so 10 man to 10 man, 25 man to 25 man, and normal to normal, heroic to heroic. Ultimately, the only fight in ICC 10 man normal that poses any real challenge is Lich King. Outside of that, I expect most guilds that went through Old War hard modes and Trial of the Grand Crusader will have little to no problem in ICC 10. Now, compare this to tier 11 10-man normal. There are only one or two bosses that I think will pose a challenge. Nefarian, maybe Cho'Gall early, but certainly I wouldn't rate the difficulty too far ahead of ICC in tier 11 10-man normal. Now let's talk heroic, because I believe this is where the tiers do begin to differ slightly. Bosses like Marigar and Loot Ship just aren't comparable to even the easiest of tier 11 heroic bosses, such as Halphus and Atramedes. Even bosses like Saurfang, realistically, only actually has two mechanics that people are even concerned about: the tank swap and adds. Managing them well will get you a kill in most scenarios. So the tier 11 list definitely starts higher overall, but the middle difficulty bosses in ICC will definitely be a good staple for the difficulty of some of the easier heroic tier 11 bosses. Bosses like Rotface and Vestager that have mechanics to pay attention to will be comparable to the lower end of heroic tier 11 bosses. Bosses like Putricide and Blood Council I actually think will be harder than many tier 11 bosses, like Atramedes, Chimeron, Magmor, Halphus, Conclave, sitting somewhere in the middle of difficulty. Blood Queen's actually a very rough fight in Wrath due to the damage in the flight phase, and will probably be equivalent to something like Alakir in how healing intensive it is, whilst being a huge DPS check. Now let's talk about some of the final bosses. Sindragosa, Lich King, Nefarian, Cho'Gall, Sinestra. Sindragosa is a crazy healing and damage check, but the mechanics aren't particularly difficult, just messy. However, I'd argue this boss is much harder than something like Cho'Gall on heroic. Sinestra actually isn't a very tough boss, it's just very comp based. And finally then, Lich King is near impossible at 0% buff, but doing the mechanics and tight DPS checks is definitely possible. My top 5 most difficult bosses in this list would be Cho'Gall being the easiest of the 5, Sinestra, Sindragosa, Lich King and Nefarian, which should indicate that killing these bosses on 0% or certainly a low difficulty buff really should line you well to get into counter tier 11s as they come around. So I'm really interested to know what you guys think about this. We're going to go for another round of ICC PTR testing very shortly in the next couple of days or so. I want to go through and clear everything 10-man heroic as well as many 25-man heroics as possible. I'm happy to put some videos about that if that's something you guys are interested in, but just generally I think if you can clear 25-man heroic or 10-man heroic, it really does set you up to be in a good place in Cataclysm. Thanks for watching guys, more videos coming soon, catch you later, bye.